Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being with us. I am Sidney Katz. I represent the residents of the 3rd District of Montgomery County on the Montgomery County Council. I chair the Public Safety Committee and serve on the Government Operations Committee. And we are delighted that you are joining us on Zoom for our 18th, it's hard to believe, but it's our 18th business briefing. The purpose of these briefings is to help local businesses and nonprofits navigate through our new economic reality. And we are dealing with a new economic reality. I'm very happy to welcome 3 exciting guests today. George Koutsos, the Operations and Community Outreach Manager for the Blue Ridge Restaurant Group, which operates the Stanford Grill and Copper Canyon in Montgomery County. And we also welcome Chris McCausland and Michael Opelski, who are co-founders of City Bonfires. Our guests will introduce themselves with brief remarks. We will then take questions from our Zoom audience. And please send your questions to the chat box on the right of the screen. Before we start, I'd like to once again thank Susan Kennedy, who will be moderating today's briefing. She has done all 18, and she has done a fabulous job in all 18. And with that, Susan, could you please begin?
Thank you. It's hard to believe. Every week, I just can't believe we're getting that high in these, but we've learned so much, and they've been so useful to so many of our viewers and folks in the community. So let me start with you, Mr. Koutsos, and tell us a little bit about the Blue Ridge Restaurant Group, who you are, what you do, and how's it been going?
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate the opportunity. Blue Ridge Restaurant Group is a restaurant company that operates Stanford Grill, Copper Canyon Grill, and Stanford Kitchen, which are 3 slightly different concepts. We have 3 locations in Montgomery County, Maryland, and employ about 100 people currently. We specialize in casual fine dining American cuisine. Our specialties include ribs and our wood-fired rotisserie chicken, 2 signatures that you can find at any one of our locations that are absolutely fabulous. Things have been certainly tough. In the beginning, we had to kind of evaluate our business plan. So we did take some time, close all of our locations to do that and really operate a to-go program that matches our prices, which includes great packaging and obviously impeccable food and service, which we take great pride in. So, things have been tough, but we have found things like scaling back our hours and our menu and our days of operation have certainly helped, along with government loans and grants have certainly helped a great deal. And we are looking forward to slowly, completely reopening as safely as possible.
Very good. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel, it does seem. So hopefully within the next few months, we'll be able to experience that. Next, we have Chris and Mike from City Bonfires. They have a very interesting story. They're also in the restaurant business, both gentlemen, and they pivoted during this pandemic. Would you like to tell us a little bit about City Bonfires?
Yeah, thanks for having us. We own a company called City Bonfires. We sell a portable, mini, reusable bonfire. It's 4 inches wide and 2 inches deep, used with non-toxic soy wax, and you can light the recycled briquettes and have a little bonfire. It burns for about 3 or 4 hours. Lots of people have been using these outside during the pandemic to connect with friends and family and make s'mores and have a good time.
You have an interesting story, though, if you can give us an annotated version of that, how this happened. Your neighbors and you kind of were going through similar times during the pandemic with both of your jobs. Tell us briefly how that all came about.
I'm Michael Opelski. Nice to meet you guys. I was working for a recycling manufacturer that made equipment for restaurant chains, and we handled the entire country. And so when COVID started and the lockdown started, that kind of shut a lot of that down. And so Chris is my neighbor, and we were acquainted prior, but once the pods started forming and we're trying to survive here in our neighborhoods, we befriended each other, and we started playing. Our kids started playing together and getting really close, like playing every day. And then this just kind of organically came out of it. We were looking at stuff to try to have fun with the kids, keep them occupied, because they were, it's tough to keep kids busy all the time when you have that much free time. So this is the result.
We never knew that until we had to stay home from work every day. How hard it was to entertain the kids all day.
Yeah,
The kids knew how hard it was to entertain you all, but not now how hard it was to So how did you get the idea? I mean, all of a sudden you say, let's go make a s'more. How does that work?
Well, we were spending a lot of time outside with the kids doing bonfires and different things, just keeping them entertained. I was doing a lot of research at the time on different e-commerce companies and selling things through Shopify and different e-commerce sites. And I had a few different ideas, and this was generally one of them. And through Michael and I hanging out and talking a lot, this is what we came up with.
Very interesting. George, talk a little bit about, what you had to do when we first experienced the shutdown. I think obviously we were closed. A lot of businesses were closed in the very beginning, and then things slowly started to open up. Talk a little bit about how you made that transition during the early parts of the pandemic.
Well, first off, we had to really evaluate what we were going to do as a company and who we were and who we wanted to present ourselves as in, scary times. Scary times for people to go out to eat. In the beginning, people were scared of to-go food sometimes. So our goal was to reopen and provide people with the experience that is both safe for them and makes them feel comfortable, whether that be curbside pickup or tables that are spaced, amply apart, constant disinfection, servers wearing gloves and masks. It was an interesting transition. It certainly wasn't difficult. When you work with people in this industry, they are incredibly adaptable. And I think we've all learned through all of this that if you're going to come out of this with any form of sanity, you need to be able to adapt like water. And I have seen multiple employees, multiple colleagues just kind of ebb and flow. The rules are here now. The rules are this now. We just need to do what we have to do to be successful and provide a safe experience for our guests.
And how long have you been in this industry?
I have been in the restaurant business for 6 years now.
And what did you do prior to that?
I ran congressional campaigns and worked for the DCCC.
A little different than what you're doing now.
Oh, very.
And Chris and Michael, you also are in the restaurant business as well, right?
Yeah, I have a small ownership in Quincy South off Wood Glen Drive in North Bethesda, and also our new restaurant, Quincy's Potomac, in Potomac off of Seven Locks, which just opened about 6 weeks ago.
Right.
What has been the biggest challenge as far as being a restaurant owner? Is it just the ability to keep it safe and spaced out and make sure that everything's clean and ready to go, or is it letting employees go, laying employees off? What has been the biggest challenge? George, I'll start with you.
We take great pride in putting our people first. Actually, just part of our culture. It's how we've retained people for 10 plus years as a server. Not being able to tell them what next month is going to look like has been very hard. As a leader and someone that takes great pride in taking care of our people and making sure that they know what to expect in terms of income, has been incredibly challenging. And, obviously we've done everything we can on our end to make that better for our staff, including paying, way above the minimum wage for tipped employees to both retain and attract new staff.
And do you have restaurants in other places other than Montgomery County?
We do. We have one in Arundel Mills, one in Baltimore County, and one in Howard County.
Chris, did you guys winterize? I don't know. Did you have any outdoor seating or did you, and also did you guys get any help from the county or the state to make it through from the Quincy's perspective?
So about the help, Quincy South was fortunate enough to get help with the PPP and some of the other grants. That has been beyond helpful, and we're very happy for all that. Quincy's Potomac, since we just opened, within the last 6 to 8 weeks, we're not eligible for all the grants and the the employment retention benefits, and there's so many different things that were helpful in South at Quincy South. So we haven't been able to get them all, but it's still been been super helpful, and we're just happy to get all the help we can get. And as for the tents outside, both locations still have their tents. We're hoping that this week has been so nice that we actually could have been without the tents and been even better this week. But I know that the cold weather's still coming, so we'll have them for a few more weeks, and then we'll be ready for spring and summer. Our new location in Potomac, the entire front doors collapse into each other, and there's a huge 16-foot window in the middle of the restaurant that all opens up as well. So it's super wide open, really, really neat feel. I think that'll play well with people not wanting to be exactly next to each other, going down the road.
And that had to be a huge, and we're going to get back to bonfires here in a second, but it had to be a huge question mark in your mind whether or not to open up a new restaurant. It was an existing space, I guess, but whether it was a new restaurant during the times when nobody could predict anything on any time frame.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We did have the lease signed, and everything had been negotiated prior to last March. We did take our time a little bit, I guess you could say, with finding the perfect contractor, and I mean, we knew that life would get back to normal, eventually, hopefully it does, and it's not there yet. But you gotta have hope. You can't live your life, not assuming that things aren't going to come back. But we're slowly and surely getting there. Hopefully we get 50% soon and stay open later soon, and before you know it, it'll be nice out every day, and everybody will get the vaccine, and we'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. George, we were talking before the show a little bit about, communication for folks as to what was really going on, what was allowed, what wasn't allowed. Talk a little bit about the frustration or the struggles that maybe you had as a business owner, making sure that your employees and the customers knew exactly what was allowed and what wasn't.
Well, first and foremost, my job is hospitality. It's not law enforcement. It's not rule enforcement in any way, shape, or form. We just are not made that way. That's not why we went into this business. So our approach is very much oftentimes educational. It's non-confrontational. And fortunately, most guests are, they understand the rules. They don't want to get someone sick. They don't want to get sick themselves. So that's a bit of what we've seen, but in some cases, you've got to educate some people on what the expectations are, and we do try to approach that in the most hospitable way possible.
And for the bonfire side of this thing, so do you sell products that are in association with it, or how does when I'm ordering products from you, how does it work?
You can buy just the bonfire by itself. We do offer a s'mores kit as well that comes for s'mores for 4 people. So you can buy up to that if you don't have the s'mores supplies at home when you order. We also sell these roasting sticks, these portable skewers that come individually wrapped, pre-wrapped with our logo on it there. And we sell lighters as well if you need a lighter.
I think we should mention this too, Sydney, and I don't know if Mike can speak to it or Chris, whoever, how you've sold how many of these? When I came and visited you, I think it was November, you had just started in August and you'd sold 2 million of these bonfires. And how did you do it? Because you did it kind of in an interesting way. It really caught on through social media.
Yeah, we've sold probably in the 100,000 range, we think, at this point. And it's really what's been impressive and what's been helpful from a Montgomery County standpoint is that the county has a lot of services and infrastructure that was already built and available that helped us as we were trying to ramp up. It made it a lot easier.
And what about the advertising on social media? How did that play into it?
That's been really our biggest help is getting out to people and using the technology that's available to us with Facebook and Instagram and the internet in general. Right. is getting out there and getting in front of people, and that's really the new age of advertising, and we're just trying to take advantage of that.
And I'm assuming you ship nationwide. How does that work for you?
Yeah. So we've shipped to all 50 states. We've shipped to Canada, a few other places throughout the world, but for the most part, North America. Right.
And how much does it cost? Whether that
it starts around $20 and up, depending on how many you order and the s'mores kits and such. But it's an easy. That's one of the better parts about it is it's not expensive. It's an easy gift. We've had a lot of corporate gifts. People send them, realtors send them to clients. We did just we've had a lot of fun, great, really heartwarming stories with people in Texas. A week or so ago that were out of power. They were using them to boil water. And there's just been so many use cases that we never thought of when we were developing it that other people have used for it. That's really been fun to find out here.
Yeah.
And everything, you send everything yourself. You don't use a third party.
No, not at all. We have all the shippers here in our warehouse off Neville Street. So we're here in the county. Everybody that works here has lost their normal jobs during the pandemic. So we're trying to help everybody. Just like we lost our jobs, we're trying to help people that lost theirs.
Yeah, it's one of the silver linings.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. It's one of the silver linings is that not only were we lucky enough to figure something out, but all the people we were able to help in the business we were able to create. I mean, it helps us, it helps our team, it helps the vendors we work with. So it's been a surprise.
And any idea when you'll be on Shark Tank? I mean, this sounds like a Shark Tank business right here. Yeah.
Yeah. People go on Shark Tank when they want investors and different things. And I don't know if we want that per se right now. It'd be great for the exposure. Tomorrow morning we'll be on Good Morning America, the Steals and Deals section or portion of the show. So we're really excited for that. We're ramping up here in preparation for tomorrow. So we're very nervous and excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, don't be nervous. You'll do just fine. I think you guys will do just fine. You'll set the world on fire. So maybe not. Yeah. Let's not say it that way. So George, in your restaurants, are you at this point looking for expansion? Or are you still just trying to hold on to what you have? What is that plan?
Well, with summer weather, a lot of our restaurants, you may have noticed, have wonderful outdoor seating options that are covered. They're great. We are going to be expanding our menu from the original COVID menu, which we reduced drastically to save on labor costs and also just keep people in our back of house not on top of each other, let them work a little farther apart. We're absolutely expanding with the summer months coming, increased revenue. We saw in the past 2 days a giant boom in people dining out, both inside and outside. And, it's been a great sign for us. So we're definitely expanding. We're hiring company-wide, both front of house and back of house, to prepare for what's coming once more people are vaccinated and things are safe enough to open back up completely. We're ready. We're getting ready, at least.
Good.
Great. We have a question that came in, and I think this is both gentlemen can answer this, the restaurant folks. This is from David Friestadt, and his question is, he says, my question is the perennial one. How has the strange county liquor laws helped or hurt your endeavor to do business this past year? And generally, what changes would you suggest besides just getting rid of these regulations? Anybody want to take that one on?
Honestly, we have not had any issues with the county in terms of the way that restaurants order liquor. It's pretty straightforward. The county system has not been terrible. On a personal level, I would love to be able to buy beer and wine in a grocery store while I'm doing my shopping and can get my cash back rewards on my card because I'm at the grocery store. That'd be fantastic. However, the county system has pretty much streamlined it. Every now and then you run into something that might be difficult to find, but you can call an ABS person and they are usually pretty helpful.
Chris, how about you?
Agree. I mean, it's a streamlined system to work with, and I would agree. It would be nice to be able to buy liquor or be able to pick it up when, not have to buy it directly at the liquor store and pick up beer or wine, whatever you may need for your store, and not have to buy it directly from them. But I think it's been okay.
It's really an interesting discussion. It really is, because I can tell you that when we looked into, when I first got on the county councils 6 years ago now, there was a task force one, and I wasn't on the task force, but I went to every meeting, or mostly every meeting, and you learn that it's the liquor industry is a bunch of monopolies wherever you go. I mean, it might be public, it might be, and most of them are private, but there's a distributor or two distributors in a state for whatever you're looking for. And the whole idea for the grocery stores, people want to blame the county for that one. That's a state law, and there's some question whether they were going to change it. It's my understanding at this point, I think it didn't go through, and the county wasn't sure whether we were going to suggest, be supportive of it or not. You get into the situation of the mom and pop stores and whether or not the grocery store would help them or hurt them, and there's all of these layers to this onion. But in general, I think over the years, and there's people that want Montgomery County to get out of the liquor business, but I think over the years, the last couple, certainly several years, Montgomery County has tried its best to do a better job. And nothing is perfect, and I'm not suggesting we are, but they have tried to do a better job. We're the only ones, it's my understanding, in the United States, the only county that controls both wholesale and retail. And I think that in itself has caused a lot of the discussion, whether or not, and of course, the county has about $30 million extra out of it, in revenue out of it each year, depending on the year. So it is an interesting conversation. There's people that are okay with it. There's people that hate it. And there's people that, think we should consider seeing what else happens. But some of it is the state law, not just county law.
Definitely is an interesting conversation, been going on as long as I can remember. I have a question for Chris and Mike, as far as, for people who are trying to do something and maybe do really well with it. I said 2 million units. I know that was wrong, but a lot of us think, wow, I wish I would have thought of that, or I wish I would have tried to do that. So many of us, we come up with ideas in our heads, and we don't have the drive to go ahead like you guys did and pursue it and make it happen and make it successful. Talk a little bit about, what was it that made you realize that this could work? That this could catch on and folks would buy these and they would be a success.
I think in the beginning we were trying to assess, opportunities. Chris had a broad range of things he was trying, and this was the one that came out the winner. And we just got a lot of feedback really fast that people liked it. And so all the feedback we were getting was all positive. And so I think that just kept reinforcing us. And then Chris and I have our skills are in organizing and logistics really came into play. So that way, when it started to go, we didn't get outpaced. And so I think one of the things that if someone were trying to do this, I would tell them in hindsight is to have a little bit of a plan of how you'd ramp up, because that's what happens. You could have a good idea and then you could sell too many and then you don't deliver them on time, and now all your client base is mad at you. And so we really had to. It was like controlled chaos in the beginning. We were letting it go as much as we could. Chris and I were working ridiculous amounts of hours. But we were letting it go just as much as we could and try not to we didn't want to get greedy. We wanted it to be profitable, but not greedy. And so I think that's kind of a little bit of what allowed it to be successful.
Great.
And do you manufacture it yourself, or do you have it manufactured somewhere else?
We made it.
Yes, sir. We make everything here in our warehouse off Neville.
Except the can. We get some things made from vendors, but we put everything together.
Yeah, we assemble everything here, is what should be said. Yes, we buy all the products separately, but everything is bought in America. All the products are American made, and we put it all together here in Rockville.
Yep.
Well,
We are almost out of town. I want to ask George one more question, and then I'll turn it back to you, Sydney, to wrap us up. George, obviously it's been a long year for you with your restaurants, and spring is here, and the president said last night that every American should have a vaccine by May 1st. Tell me, what goes through your head when you hear that, as far as your restaurants go, and what the future holds.
Well, certainly, it's a welcome sign of relief. Given the president's tone, I thought he was going to give us more bad news, but halfway through, you were like, "Oh, well, this is fantastic news." No, it's certainly it's a breath, incredible amount of relief after a year. I didn't expect any sort of relief like that. I imagine it's what it feels like when you get your first dose of the vaccine. We're hiring, we are ramping up our menu, and we are getting ready for some sense of normalcy, so that we will be ready whenever that comes. And we're very excited about it.
Yes, very good. Well, Mr. Katz, I think we're about out of time. I'm going to toss it back to you to say goodbye.
well, thank you. And George, I can tell you, I literally got my first dose of the vaccine within 2 hours ago. And it was just fine. The county, believe me, I'm applauding it too. The county did. I went through the county system, and they were as efficient and as they possibly could be. So all did work. So I keep telling people I had to wait and tap my foot while I was waiting to get to the point to actually get the vaccine. But we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Or maybe we're not seeing quite the light. We're seeing the tunnel at this point. And we're going to get back to normal. It's just not as fast as we want it to be, and who knows what the new normal will be. But we're going to get in a better place. So thank you all very, very much for being with us. We appreciate hearing your stories. We appreciate you staying in touch with us, and we'll look forward to watching Chris and Michael tomorrow on television as well. So you have new fans already. So thank you all very, very much. And Susan, thank you. And let me thank Lori Edberg from my office and my office in general for putting this together. These don't just come together by themselves. They come together with a lot of help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.